It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
Everybody's been late. But if it's not habitual, it's not a big deal. But if you used a really lame-ass excuse like some of our listeners have, those stories coming up a little bit later on in the podcast. Let's go.
It's scary for two reasons. The election is right around the corner. And it's the haunted spooky season. So when I read this, I'm like, it's fate. We got to talk about it because every single year people want to tell us the scary stuff that's going on in their house or a house that they lived in that they feel was haunted. A lot of Americans say they'd rather live with a ghost than have outspoken political neighbors. So
I mentioned this to one of the guys I coached football with last night, and he said, gotta tell you a story. The very first house my wife and I bought was a house built in the 1900s. And my wife was at home one night, and I was out with my boys. And she called, wigging out, because she was the only one home. We hadn't had kids yet. And she heard
walking up the stairs.
Footsteps up the stairs. And she freaked out. She called. She said, Mike, you got to get home. You got to get home right now. And he's like,
God,
we're moving.
Yeah.
She made him move.
That's enough. I mean, if somebody is that scared, it's like, why be a sitting duck? Why wait for something else crazy to happen? No, thank you.
Have you ever been haunted?
No.
But you have such a high belief that this is happening. Again,
I know, and I'm not saying that I'm disappointed by that because I feel like even though I watch all those shows and I'm like, whoa, I'd love to go ghost hunting, I would never want something to, link to me and follow me home and possess our house and drive us crazy and keep us up at night. I don't want that.
Out of all those ghost hunting shows, have they ever found one?
Every single show. That's how you have season after season.
Anyways, I figured, all right, fine. Lunatics, you can start calling now, and we'll get your ghost story on the radio. Kelly, you got one for us or what?
Yeah, so I'm feeling really uneasy because I definitely think my house is haunted.
Okay.
Sure.
I feel like I'm the only one that's really noticing it because it happens at night a lot of the times when, like, my husband and kids are sleeping.
Yeah.
But just weird things are happening. It's very unsettling, really just disturbing
like what?
noises.
What's weird? I never understand this kind of stuff. Like, everybody's like, oh, my house is haunted. What's so weird that happens at your house?
So the first thing is I can just feel a presence in the house, and I'll hear things. So I'll be in my bedroom, everyone's asleep, and the floors will creak. And it's not an old house, and it's definitely not house sounds, because I know that's what people are going to think. But, I'll hear, like, the floorboard creak, and I'll go check it out, and nothing's there. But I have a feeling that whatever this is my grandfather.
So why do you have that feeling? Something must have, like, did you smell something that reminded you of him? Sometimes that happens, like just a waft of cigarette smoke and nobody in the house smokes. And you're like, wait, my grandfather did.
Yep. So my grandfather was not a very nice man.
Okay.
He was especially not nice to me. Of all the grandchildren,
Really?
They were just, like, there's 6 of us, right? So if there's 6 of us and he would get, he'll go to the store and get 5 pieces of candy.
No, he would
And-
not.
What?
Yeah, and I struggled with my weight as a kid, and it was just like that was his way of, sort of reprimanding me for needing to lose weight.
Wow. And you're getting that feeling like he is looming after death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was a big cigar smoker, and sometimes I think I'm going crazy. I smell cigar smoke in my house.
Right.
It's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm good. Thank you for calling.
Please do not poo-poo these stories. It takes a lot to call in and put yourself out there like this.
Every year we do this, and every year the lunatics come out of the woodwork.
That is a strong word.
Okay, just hear me out on this logic. You die, and you believe that you stay in the spot you died in, and you stay there to haunt them.
No, I definitely think that you can transplant yourself in other places. That's
So
what
then
they
why
say. You
wouldn't-
go to haunted locations, someone could imprint on you, and you would bring that spirit home.
So you're a
with you.
ghost, and you can go wherever you want. And you're going to go to Kelly's house and haunt her versus the locker room at Hooters.
Sounds like if it's her grandpa that didn't like her, maybe he just wants to ruin her life while he's gone too. I'm not going to analyze this stuff.
Listen to yourself.
I'm just going to listen. This is an open forum. This is a safe space. I'm going to kick him out of the studio next time. That is your haunted situation. Whether it is in the past, you moved from a home, that strange things were happening, unexplainable things. You were scared. Move. Leave it for somebody else to deal with.
Kyle, I feel like I recognize your voice. Have you called the show before?
Yep.
Okay, now I feel like as guys, we have this supreme level of logic that would override the fact that you think you're living someplace haunted. Please tell me you don't.
I used to live somewhere where I thought was haunted.
Then what made you think it was haunted, Kyle?
Well, there were several times I heard somebody walking down the stairs. I thought it was my brother, and I said, "You're not going to scare me." And I went and looked, and nobody was there.
Okay.
He wasn't even home. And then another time was I was in bed, and we had a nightlight in the hallway, and 2 shadows walked by. That was enough for me.
You just up and moved?
Yes. Why would you stay there?
Shut up. You really moved because of that?
No, but it was one of those things where you just pull the blanket over and roll over and think you're going crazy.
Yeah, you were. Clearly. You should seek help. This is not going to go away by itself.
So were you able to sell and move quickly? Or did you have to...
It was my childhood home. My parents, I was one of those living with my parents.
Oh, and had they ever experienced anything like that? Or was that just you? You're the only one?
No, my dad, he got jerked in bed and his the shade went up.
Okay, you said it wrong. All right. You gotta remember who you're talking to here.
Dude,
this guy.
What's up with you, man?
Anyway.
Kyle, thank you.
He was laying on his side.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
over.
yeah.
I got you.
Same. All right. Have a great morning. Thanks.
Let people talk.
I can't.
Yeah.
This is such a ridiculous conversation. Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Please purge your disturbed thoughts.
All right. So I have a couple. The worst one, I was remodeling a house in Duluth with my husband. And as soon as I walked into this house, there was just this very dark energy.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walk towards the back of the house where the basement was, I just felt sick, nauseous. I had to run out of the house. So I start looking around the house, wondering why. And there's a deadbolt on the outside of one of the bedroom doors.
Oh.
And I look in the bedroom, and there's kids writing all over the walls in there. Some kid was practicing their ABCs on the window, little toys that had fallen into the vent. And I come to find out it was an old dope house or trap house.
Okay.
And I couldn't stay there anymore. So after the first night of remodeling, I went home, took a shower, and I'm standing in my bathroom, door open, looking down the hallway, and there's this little girl in a plaid dress with pigtails just standing in my room.
Stop.
And I was like, what? That's weird. Like, she didn't give me any bad vibes or anything, but I just thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything because I've had these experiences before. But then my husband comes up and he's like, did you see that little girl?
See,
Who's
that's
that?
when it gets real for
So
me,
he
is when
saw
other
her
people
too.
can corroborate like what you're going through, and then you're like, I'm not crazy. Somebody else at a totally different time saw the same thing as me. And
yeah, it was
then it's
just
real.
a cute little blonde girl, and it like broke my heart because I actually think that she had been murdered in that house,
Oh my God.
and for whatever reason she latched on to me. I don't know, but it scared me. It scared me really bad. Going back to that house every day was just awful.
Now, you don't think there's a chance that there was any residue from all the dope in that house that got into your system and you were just seeing things, do you?
Well, the dope house probably had a lot
I
of
don't think that.
bad history. A lot of bad things probably
There was
went
a
down.
lot.
Listen, no matter what you say,
Yeah,
I'm not
talking
going
to
to
the neighbors, there was a lot of terrible things.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to believe you, but what did freak me out about your story a little bit was that they had a deadbolt on the outside of a bedroom door,
Yeah.
and clearly they were locking those
Yeah.
kids in there for their own safety. That freaks me out a little
Messed
bit.
up.
Yep. I think she passed away in that house.
Good morning. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Good, man. I'm going on like 3 hours sleep, though.
You are?
Yeah, it was a tough night in Kimball last night. They are a very, very good football team. By the time I got home, got a chance to wind down, I came home, and usually, like, does Derek do this? If you've got a late night gig, will he be up kind of on the couch, maybe sleeping, but still waiting for you.
Yeah. Yep.
So typically my wife does this, but I came home last night to a completely dark property. There was no lights, not even like a courtesy light on.
Yeah.
Dad's going to be home late tonight. Leave the lights on or anything like that. I walk in. There's nobody. There's no lights. My oldest son is asleep in his bed. I'm sitting downstairs, just kind of, all right, I'll go upstairs, see what's going on. My wife just passed out, so I'm like, all right. Go downstairs, make a little food. Couldn't wind down. I was just like, damn it. And then I remember it was about 12:30. Since they don't have school, my youngest son shows up, and I'm like, I got to go to bed. So I'm working on about 3 hours sleep. Just one of those kind of nights that you're like, these weird Wednesday midweek games just kind of got me. So that was the chunk of my day. What'd you do yesterday?
I carted Liam around. He had his first day of MEA, so he wanted to hang with his friends. So he went and got his friend Ben, and then Braden came over, and they did what they do outside, and they were doing like jumps on scooters and
right on,
having fun. And then they all went to the Becker boys varsity game, and they stomped them, so that was cool.
Good team.
And then they got home a little late, but I stayed up just to hear if
you stayed up for your family members.
I did. I did. But not for long. So then I hit the hay around 9:30, 9:45, and cut to I'm here. You know what I did last night, and I don't know if I feel good about it or uneasy, but I do a lot of fake shopping. I don't know if Trisha does that or
it's the real stuff.
She goes through
boxes
with it
every day.
So I do a lot of fake shopping, and it's because, so I went from a 2X, now I'm down to a large, and I want to get to a medium to start shopping again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to buy clothes that I won't feel comfortable in. So I put a bunch in my cart of like wishful ones. And then I woke up today and I just deleted them all. It's like I felt like I shopped, but I know nothing's coming. You know what I mean?
Is that, yeah, I'm trying to think,
sad.
Does that make you feel good or bad? Like you got nothing to look forward to.
It made me feel so good that I was shopping, and then all of a sudden, then I was just like, man.
But you hit the reset button this morning, and now like you can reshop again. Like, right?
I'll start right now.
Right,
good
there
idea. Yeah.
If there's large chunks of dead air this morning, Kat's clearly shopping, and I'm already asleep.
All right, so hit me with a holiday beat, would ya? I love these catalogs. First, like Oprah would do her favorite things, and they would be semi-affordable because she still has Oprah money, but they would be things that she thinks would improve your life. The Neiman Marcus Christmas catalog is out.
I don't even open this kind of stuff because I know I can't afford it.
I look at stuff all the time that I can't afford. I think that I look at it more as like motivation. One day, girl, do you want this? Go ahead and get it. But they have an 18th century royal family carriage worth $1.9 million.
Jeez.
They have a 1735 fine porcelain experience. So that you can never touch. Has to stay behind glass. $90,000. Manolo Blahnik London shopping spree. $55,000. That would appeal to me. I don't wear high-end anything, but I would still go and do something like that. A crystal you love mahjong, don't you?
I played in college. I got into dominoes and mahjong.
Yeah.
When I'd have downtime at the pool hall.
Yeah. So I thought of a crystal mahjong set, $20,000. What is the most expensive thing that you've gotten as a gift for Christmas?
I was really trying to think about this. And I mean, as an adult, my wife and I have always had this agreement ever since we had kids that we were going to not get ourselves, either of us, anything. And we want to spend that money on our children.
Yeah.
But I do remember there was a year, and I must have been maybe 12. And I remember my parents, again, I didn't grow up with cat kind of money, but the one Christmas present I got was a pair of the red, black, high top Sky Jordans.
Nice.
And I remember my dad saying that they had paid like $75 or $100 for them. And that was huge.
Why did he price drop like that? To make sure that you knew to take care of them?
I always asked what it was because I was kind of like, now my kids are spoiled rotten, so I've never heard this from them.
Yeah.
But I've never heard that, like, I was kind of like, did you spend too much on this? I mean, should we take them back and get something a little more reasonable?
Very thoughtful.
My parents worked extremely, extremely hard. And, I saw my dad, grind out, a living. And I was like, oh. So I do remember feeling really, really blessed at that point. And it was almost like a guilty blessing. Like I was like, I know I don't need these, but I loved them so much. And I'd wipe them down after school.
Yeah.
And like, I'd be the kid that would go to the bathroom, not to go to the bathroom, but to get, those giant half circle hand washing stations they have.
Yeah.
I would get some water on it and rub them down and then dry them down. I love those shoes.
But
man.
as a parent, I would love for my child to, and Liam's very mindful too. He hates when we spend money on him. He doesn't need it.
I'm sure he does.
He does. He's always like, I don't need it. Do I need it? I don't need it. So that's very rare, I think, in a kid. But I would have to say my car. My parents got me okay, so I would say it's expensive, but I had to pay for it. They paid for the first month.
Okay, but now put yourself.
And I was like, fine.
Put yourself in this position in 3 years when Liam wants a car when he turns 16. Your parents had to go out. They had to do the financing. They had to pick out the car. They had to do all of this knowing that this is like a $30,000, $40,000 vehicle. You're not going to do that for your kid.
Yeah, but I had to pay for it.
I know, but even you still wouldn't go to that point.
So they went out and signed a piece of paper. Bravo. I love the sentiment. It was a really great
surprise. But it's also a leap of faith that you're going to be able to get a job and pay for it.
I had a job, and that's why they were like, oh, she can afford the payments. So, yeah, I had to pay off my car.
Anybody else get a gift that's bigger than a car? Like, I mean, there's a lot of reasons I'm disgusted with Kat. But this is one of the main reasons.
Out loud.
Is that she got a car for Christmas one year. Like, it's just.
It was a beautiful moment, though. They really outdid themselves.
I rarely use the word hate. But have you gotten anything more expensive than a car, a bigger gift than this? And maybe you're blessed. Maybe it was a blessing. You got some insurance money. You got some inheritance money. You won the lottery. But have you ever got anything like in that $40,000, $50,000 range? Good morning, guys. I wanted to look for the worst excuses you've ever had for missing something or being late, because I was reminded the other day of a guy. This is a long time ago. We had somebody who applied for a job here at the radio station, and he was a pretty high-level talent, and he lived on the East Coast, and we had arranged to fly him in and hotel and let him audition because he really, really wanted the job here, and went so far as to buy the plane ticket. But both ways, actually. The round-trip tickets, arranged for the hotel, arranged for somebody to go to the airport and pick him up. And I get a call from the person that had gone down to the airport in their own goodwill.
Yep.
Nothing to do today. I'm going to head down here at 3 o'clock, pick somebody up from the airport, bring them back, get them settled into the hotel room. Tomorrow they'll audition. I get a call. They're like, nobody came off the plane. Like, nobody's here. I've been waiting for an hour. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
How rude.
So I try to call the guy. He won't answer. I text him. I'm like, are you in Minneapolis? Are you at the airport? And like an hour and a half later, I get a text back. No, missed the flight. Sorry.
And that was it?
And so I just said, there has to be a story. And the story was, went to the wrong airport. And I'm like, all right, clearly you're too dumb to work here. Like, we're not hiring MIT level folk at this radio station.
But you have to find your way to get to work.
So his excuse was, I went to LaGuardia. It was JFK. And I'm like, all right, well, the offer's off the table then. I mean, we were ready to offer this guy the job. It was just and I'm like, offer's off the table. And it was the most ridiculous excuse. If you get ready for a job interview, but this is like planning out a half a week to get on an airplane, fly to Minnesota, get off the airplane, audition, fly back to the East Coast, and you can't get to the right friggin' airport, well, then I can't trust you to be alone here.
Yep,
exactly. And that was kind of the way it was. So I thought, let's go fishing today for great excuses people have used for being late, for missing something like that. Jeremy, you're first up. What do you got for us, bud?
Well, last week, one of my coworkers came into a meeting late, and he gave the excuse that he had a flat tire.
Sure.
So my boss, being a little skeptical, didn't believe the guy. He actually went out into the parking lot to look at the guy's car.
Oh, my God.
He stopped the meeting, walked down the 4 flights of stairs, went to the parking lot, looked at his 4 tires, saw that they were all regular tires. There was no donut. There was no spare. Fired him on the spot.
You know, this move sounds like he's had it. So I feel like, has your boss been dealing with a lot of people that have excuses for being late and stuff? Because nobody just reacts like that, unless they've had it.
He had enough. He had enough with the excuses from other team members that were in there, and then this guy in particular. So this was the final straw, and he caught him red-handed.
Nobody's going to be late after this.
Nobody's going to be late after this. Everybody's bringing donuts to the next meeting.
Right, I got you. If you have a boss that's willing to take that risk, because if you go out there and there's really a flat tire, now you look like a jerk.
Yeah. We had someone here that I think it was her second job to be late to stuff, and it was so rude. And I remember I was in management at that time, and we were having a meeting, and she comes just walking in like, you're welcome, I'm here. And I remember
Starbucks in hand, they clearly stopped somewhere.
Starbucks in hand. She said, sorry, my cat got loose outside. I spent forever trying to get it. And then I look on socials, and this person wasn't smart enough to not post about it. And she was Facebook Living, sitting in the parking lot of Starbucks just 20 minutes before the meeting. And I was like, wow, there are people out there that are just so rude.
You got to respect my time. Yeah. Nina, you got a story for us here?
Well, my boss the other day, he came in late. And he was like, sorry, my grandma died.
Oh.
So, everyone was we were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And that's kind of like all you think of that.
Yeah.
But my other coworker, who's like my best bud, was like, I don't believe him.
Why would you not believe someone when they say a family member dies?
Yeah. Well, one, it's really bad karma to make that up. But two, you should just trust that somebody would never go that route.
I know. So they were so staunch on it. They were like, I don't believe him. Okay,
Yeah.
But weeks later, at a meeting, she brings up, she's like, why did you never go to your grandma's funeral?
Oh.
Apparently, she had been looking up obituaries and found out that his grandma never died.
Oh.
Well, maybe they never put one in the paper, not everybody's going to have an obituary.
But it's online. You either post it to Facebook or, there's a lot of ways to tell whether or not somebody has died.
What's up with your other coworker? Does she have nothing to do?
Most likely. That's unemployment activity.
But, have you ever thought about that? People, you hear oh, hey, I'm going to need a couple of days off. One of my parents had passed. Nobody ever just goes, oh, I don't believe them. That's crazy.
A bathroom inside of a Maverick gas station in Utah won the title of the best restroom in America.
Honestly, anytime I have to go to a gas station for whatever reason, especially being an Amazon worker, I have to use facilities, I always come to Maverick.
Where's the best bathroom around here for your money?
I know you have one in
I
mind.
say La Casita.
Yeah,
I love taking a huge grumpy there.
I don't know.
Sometimes I go there even if I'm not eating there just to poop.
You could ask me where any bathroom is at any establishment in town, and I could tell you where it is, how to get there, what side of the store it's on. But I guess I just don't note which ones are the best. I know which ones are the worst, though, so good for them.
You don't have a favorite bathroom in town?
No, I don't. I will take note now.
I just can't believe that.
Yeah. I really, really don't like the ones with extra space in the doors.
Oh.
It's okay, actually, there's a Casey's General Store in Zimmerman. Shout out that they have the slips that go in between the cracks. They're called I don't know if they're crack covers or whatever they're called. But
Wait,
someone invented them, and you slip them through so you have a privacy, so there's no crack in the door. So if somebody's waiting outside the stall, waiting to get in.
What are you doing in there that somebody else shouldn't be able to see?
Going to the bathroom.
If you're just sitting there, what's the difference if somebody walks by and sees you?
What if it's the time of the month? I don't want to catch a glimpse of somebody doing their private stuff.
Good point.
Thank you. You didn't want me to go there, did you? You're all manly uncomfortable now.
Very, very uncomfortable.
Bingo! How fun!
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo!
Bingo what bingo?
Bingo! Bingo! All right, time for listener bingo. We're looking for your amazing story, but only the first person, the quickest, will get through and get on the radio with us. Maybe you're somebody listening who
has witnessed a theft. So this guy in Florida, he was traced back to his home because he saw a generator that was actually powering some stoplights. So people could have died. It could have caused massive car damage. But he decided to take it to use it for his home.
Hey, how you doing?
You good? That's good.
Good. Yeah, can you step out for us?
I'd rather not. I'm fixing dinner right now. What's going on? What's going on? What?
You're just being detained real quick, buddy, okay? Some people might have witnessed you doing some things that we shouldn't have done, okay?
There's a generator on 674 that I saw that had no lock on it and it had no name on it. So I thought someone set it out.
Someone set it out.
It was very much secured to the power box, by the way. So it wasn't quite chained, but it was secured to it. So I remember Derek and Liam and I were going into the mall. It was like a few years ago. And we see this guy that's walking with a pile of jeans, okay? Kind of like stacked up like a cartoon, trying to walk like that. And there was a couple walking right behind him saying, hey, get back here. And we're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden this guy just takes off with all the jeans. There's a getaway Jeep right outside. Derek's in tow. He's right on this guy's tail. The guy drops
I can't believe he chased him.
A couple of jeans and then tossed the jeans in and they took off. The doors were open. You know, it was crazy. It was like a heist, but yeah.
Didn't catch him, obviously.
Didn't catch him. But Liam was like my hero. It was kind of funny. He was like, Dad, that was so cool.
Okay, so you're looking for anyone listening who witnessed a heist.
Witnessed a theft, yeah.
And I'm looking for anyone listening who has on the road hit. Now, I read this story yesterday about a woman in Kentucky who hit a friggin' horse in her Kia.
Okay.
That car looked like it had been in one of those smasher things at the junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
It looked, beyond totaled. She lived, though.
Wow.
Like airbags saved her life, but she hit a freaking horse doing 60 miles an hour on the freeway. Just imagine crazy. How do you survive that? Good morning, Trisha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Which one do you fit? Which bingo are you going to get?
So I hit a giant bird.
Whoa. Like what kind of bird? A giant one?
To be honest with you, I don't even know what kind of bird it was. What makes the story, I think, so crazy is when I hit the bird, it flew. When we got out to assess the damage, there was no bird. Like, there's no way maybe a giant pheasant. It wasn't a turkey, but it was just this huge bird. And when we got out to figure out what it had actually done to the car, it had taken out my fog light.
Whoa.
And I started noticing all this like weird not blood on the front of my car. Well, It must have been pregnant because it was eggs.
You killed a mom.
Yeah, I know. I felt so bad.
You knocked the babies right out of her.
I did. There was one egg that hadn't broken sitting inside where my fog light was supposed to be.
Wow.
And you never found the bird. You don't know what kind of bird it was.
I don't, and we don't know what even happened to the bird. It literally instantly flew to heaven.
Oh, I shouldn't be on you about this because when I was riding with one of my side pieces, he and I were driving through the back roads up north, and he hit a deer, and the deer was pregnant, and you could see the little hoof kick inside the belly. So this guy that was living at a log cabin right there in the middle of nowhere, he grabbed a knife and cut the baby
He burst
out.
the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And the mama had died.
The mama died.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, her neck had snapped.
Trisha, do you think that maybe it was a bald eagle and they're going to hunt you down and you're going to prison?
It definitely was not a bald eagle.
How do you know?
I don't think they just waddle across the road very often, but
so it
could have been like a pheasant or something, but it was just crazy that there was an untouched egg sitting in my fog light hole where my fog light used to be, I thought.
Did you just throw the egg off on the side of the road, or did you try and, put it under a heat lamp or anything like that? That would have been the better part of the story.
We did not incubate the egg, no.
Man.
I'm trying to think of what would be. So,
you were probably in pure panic. You wouldn't know what to do.
It was just crazy.
Yeah.
I was in the car with an ex, and we were arguing, and all of a sudden there was a giant bird, and we hit it, and we were driving down a country road, so we were going pretty fast, I guess.
Yeah, it probably was a pheasant then.
Got out to look at what was happening, and there was just eggs splattered everywhere, and one little egg just sitting in there.
Oh, my God.
It's a fun story, but so sad.
So sad.
All right.
Yeah.
From now on, you'll
I
be
still
known as
remember it.
the bird killer. So that's how you have to identify yourself when you call our show from now on. Hi, I'm Trisha, the bird killer.
All right.
And that
I
way
will.
we'll always remember the story. Thanks for sharing with us. Hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
I don't know why my interest was so piqued with this story, but I believe yours was. It will be as well. Have you ever met anyone that had like an extra appendage or an extra body part?
Well,
third nipple, maybe?
So I never met her, but there was a senior that, people always commented that right here next to her pinky, she had like a little nubbin. And some people said it was because she ate her twin.
Ooh, interesting.
So she was like, I'll take that finger with me, but obviously it's not true. It's one of those like, oh, my sister knows this girl.
There was a guy that pitched for the Cubs a few years back. On his pitching hand, he had an extra finger.
Yeah. Which is an advantage in baseball.
A big advantage.
Yeah.
You know how much more spin you can get on a baseball with an extra finger?
But that's God giving it to him. Like, you can't say, oh, shame on you. You can't play baseball. That's discriminatory. So,
and the only reason I remember this guy is, first off, they would talk about it all the time, and they had this stock picture that they would show of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
But in pitchers in the National League would always hit at that time. That was before the DH rule went into effect all over. But he was a relief pitcher, so he rarely got an at-bat. And then the one time he did, one of the announcers, they couldn't stop laughing because one of the guy goes, where do you think he buys batting gloves? And because he had the extra finger.
That's a good question,
But they couldn't stop laughing. It was such a juvenile thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think of this when I read this story. We're all pretty unique, right? Some of us more than others. But doctors in the UK announced the second ever human record of a guy that has triphalia.
Okay. What's that?
That's when a man has not one, not two, but three below the belt.
Schmalls.
No.
Or schmeeners.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What? That would be a curse.
Oh.
That's not even a blessing. That's not even like, oh my God, yeah.
Now,
I
here's
love
where
it.
the story gets really crazy. So this guy had 3 units. Now, they only found out about it because the guy died. He was 78. He donated his body to science, but not because of the triple ding dong. He donated his body to science just because that's what he wanted to do.
Oh, that's nice.
Upon examining, they found out he was one of the only 2 cases worldwide that's ever been recorded of this. Now, here's where it gets really, really weird. Only one was on the outside. The other 2 were internal, meaning he probably lived his entire life knowing that he didn't have 3 Johnsons.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that, like, all of it is wow, right? It takes a while to absorb all this information.
You know who was on TV the other night? That guy that has the biggest, and he has to wear his sweatshirt upside down as pants.
Shut up.
No, it's like really sad. They showed him walking down the alley.
Well,
He was going to the gas station, and yeah, it's like huge. And I felt so bad. It's like, who can live life like that? And they're like, why is he so big? He's like gained so much weight. It's like, where can he go? It's uncomfortable for him to walk. He can only wear tops as bottoms. And people are laughing at him. Like you. I'm sure that's not easy.
By the way, they're guessing now upon his death, and they can't ask him about it, just to completely switch the subject right away, that they believe that when he was alive, that, and he didn't reproduce ever, he didn't have any children, they believe that none of them worked because he had 3.
Wow.
And 2 on the inside.
And
you thought you had problems. You ever had to turn your sweatshirt upside down and wear it as pants?
Lately.
Jesus.
With Cat and JJ.
I had never heard that story before.
He was on a show on TLC.
You're just telling me like he takes his...
He has to. The hood.
The hood cradles him.
Yes.
That's got to be that's a medical issue, right? That is it gigantism?
Are you thinking elephantitis?
No, that's it. Yeah. Is that what it is? Is it elephantitis?